Hey everybody, this is Chris from Homes719.com, and I want to take a moment today to put together a little market update for Monument, Colorado, and just so you guys have a feeling for kind of what's been going on in that market and what's going on in the housing market in general for Monument. With that, what we're looking at here is some data that's provided from Heritage Title here in Colorado Springs, but the source is really a company called Altos, and they do a great job of aggregating a bunch of data for us. And in this particular instance, I've selected Monument based on the zip code 80132. And I thought I'd walk you guys through this and a few other pieces of data so you have some idea of what that market looks like, what's been out there, what is out there, and maybe some projections for the future. What we're looking at here is the market action index from Altos is indicating that we're running about a 40. You can see like back over here in October, we were running about 32. And this is just an arbitrary number that Altos puts together to try to indicate if we're in a buyer seller's market. And I would say, in my experience, I've got about 5 properties under contract right now, and it's very much a balanced market. Even though this says, hey, it's a little bit more seller, that's on a case-by-case basis. So, depending on if the house is really pretty, then it's more of a seller's market. If it's not so pretty, it's more of a buyer's market. And it's, very much a market where you can negotiate terms and conditions and items that you might want to purchase with the house and stuff like that. So, with that, if we go over here to the side, the left side of all these are like October 28th of last year. So the median list price right now is $794, where back in October it was $774. Median list price of new listings has stayed about the same there. I know it's 100 grand, it's about, but in the big scheme of things, it's depends on volume, right? And Monument doesn't have a lot of volume, so that this line just kind of jumps up and down based on that. But price per square foot, I never really look at that because it's too high level to really be of value to us, especially in Monument. Average days on market back in October was 88, is now currently 120 days. Median days on market is 88, where it used to be 70.
Text message.
Sorry about that.
Text message.
The price decreases. So 33% of all the properties available for sale are taking a price decrease. We're back in October at 60. It was up at 60%. So you can see kind of how the market has been trending. And they're back towards what would be more of a conventional market. Price increase, we're up at 5%. We're always going to have some percentage of the properties that take price increases, either due to clerical error, meaning that the agent might have put the wrong number in when they originally activated the listing, or new data came out and they did a price adjustment to increase the property price. Relisted 11%, make it all the way to the end of their listing term, whatever that agreement was between the listing agent and the seller, and are relisted for sale before they sell. 37% is what it was in October. Inventory back in October was 108. It's currently 66, so almost half a reduction. So I know a lot of you have been looking and reaching out to me saying, hey man, where's all the houses at? Well, we're not getting that many on the market right now. It's everyone's pretty much holding off there. And this isn't just Monument. This is Colorado Springs wide. The entire inventory is half of what it was in October. We are expecting that if things go as normal, we should start seeing the inventory pick up, especially here in PCS season. What I mean by that is the permit change of station. Between now and say July, a lot of the U.S. military moves. So about, I would say, a third of them move every year. So we get a big influx of moving buyers and sellers into the market, which is good and bad. But you can see, when you're wondering, man, where are all the houses at? Well, there just isn't that many of them, especially there's 66 total here in the snapshot. And when you start applying the criteria that the buyers have, when you start looking at bedroom, bathroom count, square foot, price, and then if you want a mountain view and all that kind of stuff, that really compresses the availability of the houses. So, that's why you're not seeing anything. There's not that many out there. And in Monument in general, there's not that many houses out there, even if you look at all of them. So, I will say, if you're on the east side of I-25, you tend to find yourself in the trees. And you're not going to really get a great mountain view, but you're going to get the big evergreens. And if you're on the west side of I-25, you're going to get a mountain view, but you're really close to the mountains. So you're going to have a compression. You're not going to have that picturesque, big mountain view from there. And you are going to be closer to the railroad tracks that's over there. The Santa Fe rail line runs through the western side of Monument. So, if you're looking for that picturesque mountain view, and you're okay with maybe being a little bit south on the south side of Monument, where you're getting closer to Glen Eagle, I think you're going to get much better of that picturesque mountain view facing west than you're going to actually find in Monument. You're going to have similar snowfall amounts. There is an altitude difference between Glen Eagle and Monument, but not so much as, say, Monument to Colorado Springs downtown. So know that, depending on what your goals are, you might consider, shifting a little bit further south to see if you pick up better search results by looking at the southern side of Monument and or Glen Eagle to see if you can get that better view. That's typically where I see the better views is in the Glen Eagle area. Northern Briargate is definitely where you start getting houses that face southwest, and you start getting these big picturesque decks with the great view. Where of all the houses I've looked at in Monument, I haven't seen one yet that's, holy smokes, the perfect view. Just because, like I said, you're so close to the mountains on the west side that you don't get that standoff view that most buyers want. And if you are on the east side, you're in the trees. So you consider that. The median, you can see the market action index back here, 32. Down here, I just kind of looked at a couple things and said, hey, inventory-wise, where have we been? And this is COVID land, right? So February 2020, 2022, right now, I say we're low inventory, but in reality, you can see kind of where we're at. It's actually quite high for between now and February 2022. But if I go back and look a little bit further back, let's take a look at this. Where did the other one go? There it is. So this is some data from the Pikes Peak Association of Realtors. I'm looking at historical count of active listings. The search criteria that I have in here is the city of Monument, not the zip code. This particular search wouldn't let me do that. So you can kind of see where we're at here. January 2023 was 120-ish. There we go. 120 is where we were at. So back before that, we were a little bit higher. But historically, this goes all the way back to 2018, and you can kind of see 120-ish is kind of, if you draw a flat line here, a trend line, it'd probably be right about where we're at now. So, with that, just take that as a grain of salt. We have about the amount of inventory that we're going to see. We could see a spike in inventory over the summer, but don't expect it to get crazy higher than what it is. The peak here is 200, and that was back in January 19. So with that, I was going to show you some data here. This is a search again inside the MLS, and I've asked for everything in the Monument zip code and kind of sorted it. You can see the price point here. I've got it sorted from highest to lowest. Mostly because there's a lot of you are looking in the upper price point, so I wanted you to see kind of what's been out there and start maybe even considering new construction. You can see we have a bunch of new construction in Monument that's coming on the plate. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me before you go talk to the builder, because you do need an advocate. It doesn't save you any money to go talk to a builder without a realtor with you to advocate you and help you understand what's normal, what's reasonable to ask for when you go talk to a builder. All the builder contracts are 100% written in favor of the builder. So it's kind of nice to have someone you can rely on to kind of maybe point out, yeah, there's some risk here you might not be seeing, kind of thing, and help you negotiate, different things, because we buy and sell a lot more houses than the typical consumer, right? But you can kind of see we do have a lot of existing homes. We have a lot of new construction. If I just turn the map on here, you can kind of see where that outline is in the monument area. So, you know, the west side here is kind of where all the new construction tends to be. But we got some down here in the south side just above the Air Force Academy. If you're looking over here, be aware that the Air Force Academy has a lot of flyovers. So you're going to have planes flying over, especially during college season, over your house. You can see Glen Eagle. This is the area I was mentioning where you tend to have the better views facing the southeast or southwest. So you can see here the green is the tree line. So if you're on the east side of I-25, you tend to find most of the housing is up in the tree line, where when you look to the west, you don't see the mountains, which really, you know, here's the kind of the peak of the mountains right here. So just be aware of that. You know, you can kind of see, you know, where all the volume's at. And then if I come back over here, let's switch something off. Where are most of the houses? So if I go back and say the solds for the last 365 days, the last year, we had 568 properties sold during that period in Monument. And let's see if I can get it to show us some dots here. Ooh. Because there's so much, you can kind of see there's 145 of them were in that box, 15 in this one, 149 were sold in here, 176 here, and 46 out here. So you can kind of see where the volume has been. And again, if you're here or here, you're probably not going to have mountain views. You're going to have tree views. Over here, you're so far west that you're going to have a view of a hillside, not a mountain. And potentially the same thing here, where if you just come down to the Glen Eagle area, you come out of the tree line. Hey, there we go. That's what I really wanted to show you guys. It was more the red dots. So you can see the... too much data, I guess. See if I can get it to come back. Yeah, so you can see some of the distribution of where the houses have been that have sold in the last year. The pockets that's out there. So I'll stop here for a minute. If you want to pause that, you can kind of look at it and see, you know, of that, is there anything here that you kind of catches your eye? Realize that only about 25% at most of the houses face west off the back porch. So when you think, hey, I want a mountain view, just that aspect of it, if you think of north, south, east, west, there's only going to be at most 25% of the properties actually have a west view. The rest of them face north, east, or south, right? So, you know, unless they're specifically oriented southeast. But when you come down to the Glen Eagle area, which I'm not, I don't have the data in here, so you're not going to get any red dots, right? But I found that a lot of the houses in this area actually are orientated more southeast where possible. Or southwest, excuse me. So you kind of do get a view down the Front Range where you pick up Pikes Peak and stuff like that. You can see here, this is the Air Force Academy. So something to consider if you're looking at a monument and you're saying, hey, I'm really not finding one to look for. You might think about expanding down into this Glen Eagle area, or if you really want some more of the rural aspects, I have found that up here in this little pocket along 105 near Larkspur, Prairie Park, this little pocket back in here is really kind of a cool area. In fact, there's a golf course right here if you're a golfer, but there's some really neat pockets back in here where you really get some interesting landscapes and stuff like that. But when you're back here, you're about 35 to 40 minutes from the nearest grocery store. So be aware of that in Castle Rock. So it does take a bit of a jaunt to get there. So anyway, I just hope, want to put this video together for you. I know some of you might be frustrated with trying to, I want to live in Monument. What's going on? Know that there are houses selling. There's 568 sold in the last year. But depending on what your search criteria is, you may or may not be seeing them. So if you can back off or open up the parameters a little bit, either in price point or bedroom bathroom counts, I can do that for you in our search, or you can go in and tweak it for you yourself. Broaden the spectrum a little bit, open it up, take the bedroom bathroom counts out, increase the price range a little bit if you can afford it, even go lower to see what's down there. Make sure we're looking at new builds and existing homes so that you're seeing that. And open up the style. Don't just look for the rancher unless you have to have it. You can look for a 2-story with a bedroom on the main, stuff like that. So that might help show you some more stuff that might meet your needs. And if you really don't know, you want to live in money, but you don't know for sure, it's more of a dream thing. What I encourage you to do is reach out to me, and I'll send you a list of homes that sold so that you can look through those homes that sold to see if there's anything in there that's the home, right? I'm seeing 10, 20 that exact. I would love to have that house. That would help us target in on an area, and even I would be willing to market to those areas for homes that are not currently for sale, just to see if we can find one in there that might be coming up for sale prior to it actually being listed for sale. Try to get ahead of the competition a little bit, but that's something I can do. I've done it before as a real estate investor, and I can do it for you as well to target some of these areas, but we have to be hyper focused. The cards cost about 50 cents a piece to mail. It typically takes a few mailers before somebody actually reaches out. So I can't just blanket monument. There's 568 cards here. If you hit that every month, obviously it adds up quite a bit on the dollar side. But if we can be hyper focused, if you want a house that faces west, I think I can probably come up with how to do that. Or at least close, and then bedroom, bathroom counts, layouts. We can mail to those and see if we can pull a needle out of the haystack. All right. So if you have any of that, feel free to reply to this email. Let me know what your thoughts are and see if we can dial things in, or if you have any questions about what I put together here, or if you're not really looking at monument. But you have an area you've really targeted in Glen Eagle, Colorado Springs, Cimarron Hills, whatever it might be, and you want a video like this done, reach out to me, and I'd be happy to do a more in-depth video for you so you kind of see where that data, what that looks like in that specific target market. So hopefully you found this useful. I don't want to blow your email box up with a bunch of junk you don't need, but my number is 719-212-4911. Again, 719-212-4911. You can call or text that number and or reply to this email. Thanks. Look forward to hearing from you.